Hey folks, hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome to 95 to Freedom channel. So glad you can make it here today. My name is Alex, for those of you who are new here. And this channel is about my investments, my career path, lessons that I've learned over the years, and what I'm looking to do in the future. So glad you can join me here today. In today's topic, we're going to talk about how I'm planning to pivot from real estate investing into dividend paying stocks. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Okay, to try to stay on track, I laid out 5 reasons that I'm going to attempt to pivot over the course of the next several years and see how it works out. And just to keep us on track here, we're going to start with our reason number one. And if you guys have been doing any research on real estate investing, or if you're an investor yourself, there's lots and lots of content out there. Personally, going back about 5 or 6 years ago, I really started off by listening to the Bigger Pockets podcast. They had a lot of wealth of information, lots of great interviews, lots of great tips that the hosts have presented over the course of years. And that's really what sparked my interest into investing in real estate. And starting from 2019 up until now, I've acquired 9 rental properties. These are all single family homes that cash flow and produce a monthly income. So why do I want to pivot, you may ask? And that is really what I'm looking to explain to you guys today. Part of the reasons of pivoting. So starting from my first reason here, and that is liquidity. So when you build up your real estate portfolio, let's say you start out with one house. You purchase the house with, let's say, a 20% down payment. You hold on to it for a year or 2 or 3. You're building up equity in this property. And that equity position, let's say it could be $50,000, it could be $100,000, or even more. But that position is within that house. So the only 2 ways to get the money out of it is to sell the house or to take a loan against the house. Those are really your 2 options that you have. So downsides, right? So if you were to sell the house, well, one, it might take you a while, depending on what the market is. You already have a tenant in there. You already have a lease in place. So you have to work through that. You might have to do some repairs. It might have to sit on the market for a little bit. You're not really sure what you're going to get for it. So there's lots of variables. There's lots of time involved. And liquidity is how fast you can unload an asset in order to receive that cash. Option 2 is to get a loan against it. Well, let's say if my original loan, let's say, and this is from personal experience, most of my loans are under 5%. If I had a loan under 5% and I go out today on the market and I want to pull equity out, all of the banks are going to say, well, we want you to refinance the whole position. So let's say my property is worth $100,000 and I owe, let's say, $50,000 on it at 5%. And let's say this bank is able to give me a cash out up to 80%. So that split difference is 80,000 minus 50,000 original position. I'll be able to get that extra $30,000. Well, they're going to want to refinance the full amount. So they're going to restart the clock and restart the interest rate, whatever the rate is today. So they'll give me an 80,000 loan. They'll pay off the original 50,000 loan and give me that loan at today's rate, which would be around 8% now on investment properties. So I'm losing that original rate in order to gain that $30,000. Now, by the time you get into closing fees, all the paperwork, you might lose another several $1,000s. It's going to require an appraisal. It's going to require maybe you doing some repairs or something before then to get it into your pristine shape to get the maximum amount of money. So again, liquidity. How fast can I sell an asset or refinance an asset in order to get that money out? Now, for some people, it's not an issue. And I would say for me personally, having real estate as being illiquid actually helped me grow my wealth. And I would consider that as a plus. But if I'm looking to pivot into something else and I might need immediate access, this is one downfall of real estate. Number two, which is passiveness. So one of the second reasons I would consider diversifying out of real estate into like a high yield dividend stock is the fact that although we might call it passive income, and even the IRS declares real estate income as passive income, it's nothing but passive. Now, there could be different stories. Like, let's say you own a large 50 apartment complex and you have a property manager and you just get a monthly report of all your income, all your expenses. Yes, I would consider that more or less passive. However, to get to that level, it takes some really serious hustling, and I'm sure lots of people can achieve it, but it won't happen overnight. It's not the same as buying a couple of rental properties like I have. And when you are your sole landlord, when you are the handyman, when you're everything, when you're your own bookkeeper, when you're paying the taxes, when you're answering the phone calls, when things go south and wrong, that's really paints the picture of this is not really a passive investment. Yes, I would say it's more passive than going to work every day, but it's still work and it's still there. So one of the downsides, and this is just a personal anecdote from my experience, anytime I go on vacation, it always seems like two or three of my tenants are always having some kind of issue. They either have something acting up with the furnace, or they're either not paying on time, or they're reaching out about some other issue. And it's just a hassle that I have to deal with while I'm trying to enjoy my time with family. So, um, again, this might not be a deal breaker for many, but I think as you go through your seasons in life, maybe if you're in your 20s and you want to hustle, and that's kind of what I did. In my 20s, I hustled. I did as much as I could with real estate. Moving into my mid 30s now, I kind of want to focus a little bit more on something more passive. So if I'm investing in a high yield dividend stock, I'm not doing anything. I click a couple buttons and then I make my income throughout the year on a monthly basis. So really that's I would say that that's a huge one for me. Number three is required future investment. If you own a house and you know how things break over time, your roof gets old, your furnace gets old, your kitchen cabinets wear out, it's going to require future investment. And this is something that even if you do a lot of repairs in the beginning, which I have in a lot of my properties, I would put as much new stuff as I can when I buy the property. I know that 10, 15 years from now, a lot of those things are going to need to be replaced again. And those are going to be huge capital investments that you will have as a real estate investor. Whereas if you're investing dividend stocks, again, you don't have that issue. Moving down to number four, which is flexibility. Now, flexibility of your physical location. So if you are investing locally, like I have in my hometown, I know the backyard, I know all the neighborhoods. If I were to relocate to a different state or to a different country, well, I would have to either liquidate or find a really good property manager to take care of my properties. If you have a dividend portfolio, well, obviously you can take that anywhere with you. So that's not an issue. And number five, I'm going to leave it here as legacy. And this is something I've been thinking about for the last few years. When I look at my investments, I think about them as something that eventually will be passed down to my children. And from my experience, the real estate, typically when it's passed down, the kids end up selling it because they want nothing to do with it. If you have several children, they might move all across the country, and then they might not want anything to do with your houses that you might have in your hometown. Having a dividend portfolio, however, and passing that down, I think they'll be much happier in the future. Again, those are my 5 points, and that's just something I've been thinking about, analyzing. I haven't went fully into dividends as of yet. I'm starting to kind of get my feet wet a little bit and learn the ropes. So I'm going to have some videos on that as I'm learning about that and sharing my experience. But if you are a landlord, or if you plan to be a landlord, or if you're looking to invest in real estate, please leave a comment below, see what your thoughts are. I'm not looking to discourage anyone. Real estate has worked out really great for me for the past 5 years, and I'm really glad that I did it. So I just want to make that clear. But again, thank you for watching. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.